Today is Monday, May 31st, 2021. When I was a kid, I once heard that love is giving someone the power to destroy you, but trusting them not to. I know that sounds extremely dramatic, but I'm very serious. I love Lil Dicky, the rapper. And now I don't. Welcome to Derapy, Season 2. Happy Memorial Day. I'm just going to come out and say it. Lil Dicky is just a straight up motherfucking liar. But we'll talk about why I think he's a liar throughout this and maybe in multiple parts. I don't know. We'll see how long this goes. I haven't been doing it that long. We'll get into it. If your girl says she's going to be ready in like a minute, you and her both know she doesn't literally mean 60 seconds, right? But you both have that understanding. And you wouldn't say that she's a liar. She's intentionally trying to mislead you. That's just like a figure of speech. Oh, I'll be ready in a minute. I'm on my way over. You might not literally be on your way over, but like we both get what you mean, right? Lil Dicky is the type of person that'll be like, hey, it was great seeing you. I'd love to do this again. I love hanging out with you. It means a lot to me. And I take what we have seriously, honestly. I mean, I just hope you know that I want to be honest with you. I'm a busy man, so it might take me a little bit to get back to you, but I would really like to do this again. And then he ghosts you for 5 years. That's essentially the type of person that we're going to be talking about today. So just a little bit of background on me. I started listening to rap around like 7th grade. I was 12 years old, and I grew up with Lil Wayne, Drake, a little bit of Kanye, tiny eensy little bit of Jay-Z too. I think I actually bought the Blueprint 3. I can't think of what the songs that were on it were. There was this really cool song. Oh, On to the Next One with Swiss Beats. Might have been Run This Town with Rihanna. Whatever. That's the type of rap that I grew up with. So I kind of already have a good idea of like what's quality. I mean, most people beginning to start out with Jay-Z, like, you know, that the standard's pretty high. Lil Wayne also. Punchline's impeccable, nothing like it. Still haven't seen anything like it since then. But fast forward to 2013. This is when I first became aware of Lil Dicky, the rapper. So my brother had this friend who used to let him borrow these CDs. Kids these days don't know about burning CDs on your computer, throwing a whole bunch of different random tracks on it, and then like playing it in your car, and people be like, oh, who is this? What's it? Whose album is this? And you're like, it's an assortment of different things. It's a variety. It's a variety piece. But one time I heard this song, this ridiculous song, it's called Crank That Lion King. And I was like, it was stuck in my head one day, and I was like, I'd really like to listen to that again. And I went on YouTube, and I typed in Lion King rap song. And Lil Dicky's Lion King video popped up. This is in 2013. None of you who even know Lil Dicky have any idea what I'm talking about. But I was hooked. The song was essentially just Lil Dicky rapping like a plot summary of the movie Lion King. And it was entertaining. And he seemed like a good rapper. So I was like, huh, this is funny. I like this. And I wasn't even really into YouTube that much. Lil Dicky is the one that got me into YouTube. So I just want you to keep in mind, like, how the reason why I'm so passionate, I'm so emotionally invested, is because Lil Dicky, I started this journey with him. That Lion King video was the first video on his channel. And I noticed the same day he uploaded this video called Ex-Boyfriend. And he talks a lot in his shows, or when he used to do shows, when he used to like be a rapper. He would talk about how Ex-Boyfriend changed his life, about how he put that video on YouTube, it got like over 1 million views in 24 hours, and he was like, oh snap, people like this, I can do it, right? So in 2013, he also came out with this mixtape. It was called So Hard. Now, it's very hard to find that mixtape now. It's because on that mixtape, he was using a lot of beats that didn't belong to him. He makes a joke about that in his TV show that we'll talk about eventually. But I thought, listening to that mixtape, listening to the other videos he put on his YouTube, I was like, oh, this guy has legitimate skill. Like, I know at this point all I'm listening to, again, is like Jay-Z, Kanye, Lil Wayne, and Drake. Say what you want about Lil Wayne and Drake, ooh, Ghost Raiders, ooh. But Kanye's legit, Jay-Z's legit, and I was also listening to Lil Dicky. So just think about where my mind... Also, I always thought I was kind of a funny kid. Lil Dicky was a funny guy. Like, I can get behind it, right? So we're going to take this like month by month. November 2013, he comes out with this video on YouTube talking about how he wants to start a Kickstarter. Kickstarter is basically just, it's basically like the modern day, like GoFundMe, how we have GoFundMe now. It used to just be Kickstarter. You would basically make a pitch online about whatever you need money for. And Lil Dicky's pitch was, I need money for music, videos, and touring. Now, for music, he was talking about, having to pay people for features, how he needed to buy studio time because he didn't want to keep recording in his apartment with his roommates or whatever, and how he needs to pay people to make beats for him or so he can have original beats so he can actually make money off the stuff that he's putting out. Because, again, the So Hard mixtape that he put out, it was other people's beats. So that's why it's so hard to find the mixtape. That's why he couldn't keep making music like that. And then he said that he needed money for music videos, obvious, and he needs money for the cost it takes to go on tour, obvious and fair. Now, this is a quote from his video. Here's a few, actually. This is important. He says, I need your help. Please be my record label. He ends with, let's change rap forever. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing all these things is because, again, me following along as a kid, I feel like I'm growing with Lil Dicky. I'm under the impression that rap is his focus. Rap is his career. He's asking for money from me to help him do more rap. It's all about rap. Give me money to rap. He ends up raising over $100,000. $100,000. It would take some of us years and years to make that much. And people just gave that to him. Now, I'm not saying that that's a scam. I'm not saying that he's wrong for doing that. I just want us to keep that in mind moving forward. That he got $113,000 from YouTube people. Not YouTube, but like the people, his fans. Us. Me. Now, I remember feeling bad because at that point I didn't have a job. I didn't have a card to sign up and give him money with. But I was like, I'll support in other ways. When his album comes out that he's talking about, I'll buy it. There's my donation. There's my help. That was in November of 2013. We're going to skip forward a little bit. It's April and May of 2014, and he's talking about doing his first shows, his first live rap shows. And he has 2 YouTube videos about those shows. He seems very nervous, but he's also, naturally, he's anxious because, rapping on stage in front of a crowd that's paid to see you. It's a lot of pressure. But it was a joy to watch. Watching it back, I was like, wow, this is so cool. It's so authentic to see Lil Dicky in this element where he's legitimately, like, almost looking terrified to perform on stage. But I'm invested. This is my guy. I'm going to buy the album. I've watched all the videos. Like, I know this guy, and here he is. And it was great. It was emotional almost. And I remember him saying he thanks us sincerely for making his dreams come true. And I believe him. When he's up on that stage and he says that, I believe him. So in June 2014, he uploads a video called Cribs LA. So basically he's moved out to Los Angeles at this point. he's maybe that should have been my first sign. I'm kidding. But he lives with his roommate / manager in this 2-bedroom apartment in LA. It still seems very humble. He seems very honest about everything that's going on. He's, he hasn't blown yet because he's, no pun intended. He's talking about like inviting fans over to watch his 3D television. He says the TV's bigger than it looks on camera. He talks about how it's over 50 inches. And then he talks about how, oh, I didn't buy this TV with the Kickstarter money. He's like, I made this money from my tours. It's legit, whatever. I just think it's funny how he feels like he has to let us know that like it wasn't a scam. Like, I think it's more likely that we know that by you just, your everyday actions. But whatever. Thank you, David. I appreciate you making that clear. In August of 2014, again, he starts uploading new songs weekly. He uploads 3 songs, 3 weeks straight. One's called Spontaneity. It's literally just him getting in the booth. It's a straight up freestyle. It sounds like he's just spitting stuff off the dome. Like, but it's still, like, the flow switch is nice. It's a good song. I like it. He comes out with this song called I'm Right, where basically it's him validating himself, like, hey, I made the right decision to pursue rap. Like, trust me, I'm that guy, I can do it. It's a good song, I like it. He comes out with another song called Free Bread at the Outback. I'd recommend listening to all these songs. I just looked it up a day or two ago. They're all still there. Spontaneity, I'm Right, Free Bread at the Outback, all on Lil Dicky's YouTube channel. I like them. They're good songs. They're freestyles, essentially. And by freestyle, I don't mean he's literally coming up with it off the top of his head, like he's not writing anything. I mean that they don't really have any, like, legitimate substance. I mean, Spontaneity is a song, basically him talking about how he's worrying about things too much. He needs to just rap more, which is ironic, because eventually he just stops rapping, but whatever. I'm Right's a cool song. Free Bread at the Outback is literally freestyle. There's no meaning to it. Moving forward to September 2014, he shows kind of more of an ability to produce video media with a narrative. So he comes out with this song called Let Me Freak. The song is about girls, or a girl that he meets up with, not wanting to freak. And I think it's important to note that he says this is the first single off of his album, the album that he asked for the money on the Kickstarter to make, the album that I've already committed to buying. This is the first single off of it. And at this point, I'm like, oh, well, I already knew that Lil Dicky, his raps were funny, but because this is the first single off the album, I've come to terms with the fact that it's going to be essentially a comedy album. The first single is called Let Me Freak. So one thing that I think is interesting to note in hindsight is that the album wouldn't come out for another like 10 months. I saw this, I was listening to this Logic album one day a couple years ago, and at one point somebody in that album, I don't know if it was Logic or some voiceover that somebody else did, said it was weird to release a trailer for a movie that wasn't finished. And I feel like that's what Lil Dicky was doing. Like, Let Me Freak came out, and he was like, this is the first single off the album. The album's not done, but have this. I was like, that's a weird way to do that. I don't know. I don't know if that's uncommon. Let me know. What am I saying? Nobody's listening to this. October of 2014, he drops this song called Really Scared, which I think is kind of telling. He's talking about being anxious about, I mean, it's kind of the complete opposite of the song I'm Right, where he's like, hey, I was right. I did it. I know what I'm doing. I got this. Like, I'm here. I'm in LA. I'm doing the music thing. It's working. But the song Really Scared, I like it because he talks about, you know, he's pretty vulnerable in the song. He talks about imposter syndrome, feeling like he doesn't really belong in the rap space sometimes, which I can see that. He talks about being afraid of failure. He's afraid of running out of time, running out of money, not making it, not being the best. But when I hear this, I'm like, wow, this is legit. He really is focused on this and he wants to be better. On the other hand, he comes out with this other song. He comes out with this other song called Would You Believe That? And this song feels different to me. It kind of gives me an indication that maybe Lil Dicky's intentions aren't solely on being this rapper. And at one point, in the very beginning of the song, he's like 2 truths and a lie, and he's talking about 2 truths and 1 lie. And at one point, he says, I might go write a TV show and chill. This is the first time I heard of Lil Dicky wanting to do like TV. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. But I never really thought of it at all. But then he also references, looking back now, he references winning an Oscar. He says he's next in film. And then he starts talking about like a bunch of celebrities. And he talks about running LA. There it is. I didn't take it that seriously because this is in the middle of a bunch of bars. It's just another song that he's dropping every Wednesday, as he does. And for me, I'm just thinking, like, oh, the flow is nice. I'm a child at this point. Still, this is 2014. We're talking 7 years ago. So I'm a 17-year-old. I'm not reading between the lines. But he's already hinted at the fact that, you know, just a week ago he released a song saying he was scared. He didn't know if he was going to make it in rap. And then the next week he has a song where he says, I might just go write a TV show. I might just focus on film. But whatever. I just think it's interesting that before we even get the first album, he's already hinting about the fact that he might just leave rap and do a TV show and just chill. So we're going to skip forward. I'm not going to go through every single month of Lil Dicky's life. It's not that deep. It is, but not that. It's not ocean floor deep. The album would finally come out in July of 2015. But before that album comes out, he does drop 3 more singles. And I want to make it clear, again, that these singles that come out give you the impression that this is a comedy album. Because the 3 singles that he comes out with, one is called White Crime. White Crime is about sneaking snacks into a theater, driving a few miles over the speed limit, stealing Wi-Fi. Like, how hype am I supposed to get about that? I mean, I was hype hearing it as a 17-year-old. But is that who Lil Dicky's making music for? Or is he trying to be the next Drake? I think he said multiple times that Drake is his favorite rapper. But Lil Dicky's introduction into rap is joke music. It's closer to, like, The Lonely Island than it is, like, Kanye, right? And you might be thinking, Derek, it's kind of unfair to compare Lil Dicky to, like, some of the best rappers. But Lil Dicky says he wants to be the best. So do you want me to take you seriously or not? The second single he comes out with is called Classic Male Pregame. It's a narrative revolving around pre-gaming too hard and just being weird with your friends. Like jerking off into a condom or something. And like arguing about plaid shirts. Like, it's just like real college bro stuff. Then he comes out with a song called Save That Money. I think that song slaps. I remember I think that was my first experience with, like, what they call gatekeeping, because Save That Money comes out and it's produced by this well-known guy. I think it's Mustard, DJ Mustard. I don't know, whatever. It's the song with him and Fetty Wap and Rich Homie Quan. I'm like, there's the Kickstarter money. But it's a really catchy song. Gets a lot of radio play. And actually, what's so crazy about this, I should have looked up the tweet. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I couldn't find it. I looked for the tweet, I promise. And I just had to slap my fridge because it started making noise. I'm trying to put out quality content. That's the solution. Whenever my refrigerator starts making too much noise, I just start punching it. I know that sounds absurd, but it works. Can you hear it? Exactly. So I tweeted at my friend saying, look, Save That Money by Lil Dicky. It's a real song. He's a real rapper. You like that? You like that? And Lil Dicky liked my tweet. One day I'm going to find proof of it. This is probably going to be like a multiple part thing, so eventually I'll find it. But that interaction did happen. I sound like an absolute crazy person right now. Whatever. Save That Money comes out, and it's about read the title of the song, okay? So again, these are funny songs. They're good raps. They're funny songs. They're very on brand, but not going to compete with Drake, Kanye, Jay-Z, right? Lil Dicky often talks about changing the game and being the best. So is this it? Now, before I talk about the album, I want to read a few quotes from the trailer he dropped on his YouTube that was meant to give you a glimpse into his mind before releasing the album. Here are a couple quotes from, this came out like a couple days or like a week or something before the album came out. Lil Dicky's words. All I know is that I put my best foot forward. I couldn't have made this any better. This is the best I possibly could have done. I gave my best effort. Lil Dicky said that, talking about this album. So, the album drops July 31st, 2015. First album. Debut album. Now I'm not going to do a whole album review. Actually, fuck it. Yes, I am. I'm mainly going to focus on the first song on the album, Professional Rapper. The album is titled Professional Rapper. The first real song on it is the title track. Now, this song features Snoop Dogg. The premise of this song essentially is that Lil Dicky is making his case to Snoop Dogg, an OG, serious, established, respected rap artist, that he deserves the job. The job being a rap artist that, we let in to the game, as they call it. Here are some quotes from the song I want you to remember as I talk more about Lil Dicky, the so-called rap artist. Snoop Dogg says, 5 years from now, tell me about the dude. Lil Dicky replies, Well, I don't care about the money, like it's the respect that I'm wanting. Honestly, I just want to be one of the greats, where they gotta bring your boy up every debate. I don't want to leave the game the same. This song, the tone of it does not seem like a joke. Because I don't think Snoop Dogg would be a part of a song that's mocking rap music. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. But you can't. Because this is just a podcast where I'm talking and you're listening. But I know that I'm right. When Lil Dicky says that he wants to be one of the greats, now I sound a lot more fair, don't I? When I compare him to Jay-Z and Kanye and Drake and Lil Wayne. He's saying that to Snoop Dogg. So in Lil Dicky's song, he, himself, prompts Snoop Dogg to ask him how he wants to be viewed in 5 years. Lil Dicky, himself, in the song he wrote, says he wants respect and he wants to be one of the greats. He wants to be in debates about who is the greatest rapper. He says that to you, to me, to Snoop Dogg, to YouTube, everyone, the rap community. In 5 years. Do you understand now a little bit why I said he's a liar? He said in 5 years he wants to be seen that way. The album comes out in 2015. My major in college wasn't math, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, it's been almost 6 years and he hasn't dropped another album. He didn't drop another album. It's been almost 6 years. Liar! Anyways, let's go through the rest of this album quickly, I promise. I got worked up. Let me breathe. The next song is called Who Knew? An overall very good rap song. Like, I like it, based on what the title would imply. Who knew Lil Dicky? Who knew he could rap? You don't know? Check him out. That's it. It's a good song. It's a good song. It has good bars. The next song on the album is called Let Me Freak. I'm not going to waste your time with that. The next song is called Let Me Freak for Real, though. I want to pretend like that song doesn't exist. The next song is called White Crime, and we've already heard it. So at this point in the album, we are 4 or 5 songs in, and with the exception of Who Knew and Professional Rapper, these songs are jokes. White Crime's a joke. Let Me Freak's a joke. Let Me Freak for Real, though, was a bad joke. So at this point, what are we doing? Is Lil Dicky proving his case? If this was an essay or a dissertation or a presentation, the thesis statement would be that song Professional Rapper. So far, Lil Dicky has not made a very good case. Now, the song Molly is a good song. It's essentially about sacrificing his relationship with this girl to be a rapper. It has a lot less meaning now in hindsight. It has a lot less meaning knowing what we know now. Because he stopped rapping. But whatever. He didn't fully stop rapping. I don't want to be completely disingenuous about that. He did put out other stuff between that album and now. But trust me, we're going to get there. And it's not... Spoiler alert. It's not good. But we're going to stick with the Professional Rapper album right now. The next song is called Bruh. Yes, just bruh. It's a freestyle. It is not about anything. I promise. Go listen to it. Seriously. The next song is Save That Money. We've already heard it. It's about saving money. Are you one of the greats yet? Are you one of the greats yet? Lil Dicky, or are we one of the greats? Oh Well is the next song. It's just called Oh Well. Quote, oh well, unquote. It's a good tune. Lil Dicky talks about his general ignorance, being indifferent towards a lot of things, being obsessed with his phone, what people are saying about him on Twitter. He references a conversation with his father who grew up protesting while Lil Dicky says he doesn't vote and doesn't know what Obama does. It's chill, it's lackadaisical, but it's honest. The next song is called Personality, which, when I first heard, I really enjoyed. In hindsight, I actually find it to be one of the more offensive things that Lil Dicky's done. Not just in the actual lyrics, but like the overall... Let's just talk about it. Personality featuring T-Pain is an oxymoron. The song is about charming chicks with his personality, how he isn't much physically, as the name Lil Dicky would imply, but his personality is great. Is it meant to be a joke? The song sounds like he's making jokes in it. It must be. And then he refers to women as, let me check my notes here, bitches, broads, bitches again. And then he says multiple times throughout the song. Actually, I think it's in the hook. He says, sorry, mom and dad. He's getting pussy with personality. We're getting pussy with our personalities. He says it over and over and over again. So not only are the girls you want just bitches, you're not even using this personality, quote unquote, to date or whatever. It's just about getting some cat. Okay. All right. Good guy, Dave. So here's the question. Are we supposed to take him seriously? Because if we do, then it's crazy. If it's supposed to be a joke, then it's a bad joke. And the more I talk about it, the more I hate it. Let's just move on. The next song is called Pillow Talking. You might have heard this if you know Lil Dicky. The song Pillow Talk is basically, it's exactly what it implies. There's not much subtlety. There aren't many layers to Lil Dicky's music the more that I talk about it. Again, if we want to talk about the greats, I love Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick Lamar is probably the best rapper of my generation, and also borderline my favorite rapper too, between him and Tyler, the Creator. We'll talk about that another day. You have to listen to Kendrick's albums multiple times over in order to fully grasp the message he's trying to convey. But with the song Pillow Talk, where he's just talking about a hypothetical conversation he has with this woman. Again, it's a joke song. Next song, Classic Male Pregame. We've already been over it. It's a joke. These are all jokes. It's a comedy album. It's Bo Burnham. Just watched Bo Burnham last night. He's great. He's talented. I love him. Now, the next song that matters. Actually, no, it's actually literally the next song. It's called The Antagonist. In one of the first lines, Lil Dicky says in this song to consider this his theme song. So I know we've been saying that a lot of the songs are jokes, but this one we should take seriously because it's his theme song. It's what describes him. Like, it's not a joke. He has a line where he says, I'm trying to get the fucking fame and it's a tricky little game you gotta play. Sometimes you gotta tell your heart no. Now, at first I was like, what kind of game is he playing to get famous? That's an interesting line. But I truly think that he's just referring to our metaphorical Molly, so to speak. Let's address this next passage. I'm going to wrap it kind of for the sake of time. Here's the problem I've been having. This is Lil Dicky. Here's the problem I've been having. I want to make my favorite type of music, and the shit I like to bump is not the type I'm brewing. I be on that fuck the world you motherfuckers losing type of shit. Look at all you haters. Look at what the fuck I'm doing. All my favorite rappers not amusing, and I love my funny stuff. I hope it's not confusing. I'm just saying when you doing something time consuming, every now and then you want to spaz. Why I didn't go with jazz, motherfucker. Get up in your ass, motherfucker. Y'all are trash. You ain't even know that. It's a good flow. It's a good song. I like it. It sounds good. He sounds like a rapper. But let's break down these lyrics because Lil Dicky says this is his theme song. So let's talk about what he means. He says this is the problem that he's having. He wants to make his favorite type of music, but what he likes to bump is not the type that he's brewing. So the music he likes to listen to isn't the type of music that he's making. Why would you say that? Now, I guess an appropriate analogy would be like a chef making something that, isn't their favorite food, but they know that you like it. But Lil Dicky's, I thought his brand was a little bit more authentic. So now we're seeing more hints of, is he just making stuff that he thinks his niche, his certain subgenre will like? I feel like that kind of contradicts the idea of him being this great, great, great rapper. But I don't know. He says, I be on that fuck the world you motherfuckers losing type of shit. Like all you haters, look at what the fuck I'm doing. All my favorite rappers not amusing. And I love my funny stuff. I hope it's not confusing. What does that mean? All my favorite rappers not amusing. Does that mean that they're not amusing other people or they're not amusing him? Lil Dicky says his favorite rapper is Drake. I believe him. I don't think that was a lie or a joke. He doesn't find Drake. Oh. I think I'm figuring this out in real time. He's saying that his favorite rappers aren't making, like, joke music. So then he says, and I love my funny stuff. I hope it's not confusing. But in this previous line, you said, the shit I like to bump is not the type I'm brewing. So are you lying then or are you lying now? This matters, I promise. Like, we're going to get to the point where we're looking back at all this stuff and seeing why it doesn't add up. You can't have, the shit I like to bump is not the type I'm brewing, just a few seconds away from, I love my funny stuff, I hope it's not confusing. It is confusing, Lil Dicky. I'm just saying, when you're doing something time-consuming, every now and then you want to spaz. So earlier in this song, I didn't read the quotes, but Lil Dicky is basically saying that he feels like if he puts out more serious rap songs, people aren't going to like it as much. And I think that might be kind of his fault, but not his fault, because he initially sold himself as Lil Dicky, the joke rapper. And now, when he says he wants to be taken seriously, he feels like people won't accept it, but I would have accepted it. You're saying that you want to be mentioned with the greats. You want to be brought up in every debate. You said that. So I just find this very interesting. And I want to believe that he's going to figure it out himself also. So let's get into another part of this song, The Antagonist. The title Antagonist is about how he's looking for people to doubt him. He's looking for the haters. He says everybody's been supportive and nice and encouraging, and nobody's hating on him. Well, Lil Dicky, here I am, questioning everything, doubting everything, hating a little bit. Here's another great part that deserves dissection. Unlike most of the album, again, I don't think this is a joke. He says, hypothetically, though, I'll probably tell you that I'm better than you'll ever be, bro. I'll probably tell you it's objective. I'm more impressive. You press and play and form a perspective. I'm guessing more or less it won't be competitive. Y'all adorable, sedative kind of rappers so deplorably editive. Nothing's worse than when a moron's repetitive. Sounds nice, right? And it's not even my stuff. So Lil Dicky, let's just break this down quickly. Hypothetically, of course, hypothetically. If he could speak freely, he's better than you'll ever be. I don't know. I'm not a rapper. He say it's objective. I'm more impressive. You plus and blah, blah, blah. I'm guessing more or less it won't be competitive. So he ends this bit by saying nothing's worse than when a moron's repetitive. Cue him saying we're getting pussy with our personality for 3 minutes. But whatever. I'm over it. We're not going to talk about that anymore. He continues by saying, I don't get it. How is everyone the same dude? The rookie walking on the court like, man, I can't lose. They playing Dicky, everybody in the room be like, that's some shit. Playing yo bum ass, they be like, oh, that's some shit. These are good bars. This is good rapping. And it's just sad that Lil Dicky thinks that people wouldn't like this. He says, the irony in all of this that I've been funny rapping, yet the youngin' snap it to the point where all of y'all look funny rapping. Congratulations, y'all can write a hook. At my graduation, they were saying I could write a book. If a Rotten Tomatoes site existed for us rappers, I would be at 97. Y'all would hover around at 64. If a Rotten Tomatoes is a site where people rate movies, whatever, on a scale of 1 to 100. He says he'd be 97 if we did that for rap. Lil Dicky saying he's better than 97% of rappers. Okay. So, again, but this is hypothetically, of course. So there's that song. The Antagonist Part 2, it's not really worth mentioning. I feel like it was made specifically for concerts. There isn't that much substance there. Somebody else can break it down if they want to, but I truly don't think it's worth it. Trust me, I read every lyric. The next song's called Work Paid for That. It's literally just a song about him talking about how cool it is to be a rapper as opposed to his last job where he worked for an ad agency. He shows up at places, he performs music, Puma sends him shoes, he gets to sign boobs, girls scream, people freak out when he throws water at them. Like, okay, we get it. Like, being a rapper is fun. I believe you. I believe you. Seriously. The last track is, it's equally confusing. Now, initially when I heard it, it was like a 17 or 18-year-old. I loved it. I was extremely excited about it. I was like, wow. He made it. He did it. We're here. And it is a good song if we're just talking about the song itself. It's passionate. It's inspired by the song being called Truman. It's based on it's at least partially inspired by Jim Carrey's Truman Show with this movie about how this guy realizes that his entire life is a TV show. Everything that he's doing is essentially like a simulation, or it's staged. And I just realized I'm spoiling a great movie, but dude, the movie's old. All right, sorry, but you should still watch it anyways. And nobody goes near the water. He's always been afraid of water. And Lil Dicky makes this great metaphor where he basically says he is Truman in the Truman Show. Because his whole life he's just been kind of walking through it, going through the motions, and he's just realized that he can be something greater. He's going to go out into the water. He's going to hit that wall. The wall in the Truman Show basically represents, him breaking out of what's been a simulation, the TV show or whatever. It's like that movie, what is it? Is it Divergent? Maybe? I don't know. There's like a bunch of different movies like that where people find out that they shouldn't be. There's also this episode of Black Mirror like that. I think it's called Hang the DJ. There's a bunch of stuff like that. Realizing you're in a simulation, realizing that everything's staged. And Lil Dicky, I think he does a great job in that song. It truly is a good song. But in his outro, I feel like it's even more telling. It's so long-winded and kind of cringy. I didn't really talk much about that Pillow Talk song earlier, but it was 10 minutes. This song, including this outro, was also 10 minutes. The album's an hour and a half, by the way. But whatever. Certain parts of the outro, he talks about how he's ready for the next step. He's going to hit the wall, break out of the Truman Show. But then he mentions that Diddy tweeted about him. He does this bit where he thanks a bunch of people, thanks his mom, thanks his brain, thanks his dick. It's weird, whatever. He mentions Seth Rogen, says that Seth Rogen should be like selling pictures of his ass to like TMZ and how he wants to do that. Like it's all this is him. This is on his album. This is what makes him one of the greats. He talks about having pink eye and how he wanted to take a break from recording the album, but then he didn't. He kept going. He said, what would Michael Jordan do? Michael Jordan would record even though he had pink eye. Okay? And he says that he invented That's What She Said and he gets no credit for it. Whatever. That's the album. I'd like to remind you that the album's called Professional Rapper. I think the title is it meant to be ironic? You know what I wonder? If Snoop Dogg, before he decided to take part in this song where he basically approves Lil Dicky to be a rapper, it all feels very... Is convoluted the right word? Like this great master plan where Lil Dicky kind of weasels his way into the rap community. I wonder if Snoop Dogg regrets it. Considering Lil Dicky hasn't put out another album in almost 6 years. I wonder. But we're going to get to that. Look, I've decided that I'm going to make this a multiple part thing with Lil Dicky. I can't, in good faith, see how long I've been recording and be like, yeah, let's just make it a whole feature-length film. Let's make it a whole Lil Dicky album. Let's go for an hour and a half. I'm not going to do that to you. But I'm proud of the work that I've done so far. I think I've been very honest about my history with Lil Dicky and why I kind of am, my feelings towards him are changing. And this time we just kind of talked about my introduction to him in the beginning of his rap career, why I fell in love with the guy. He's a great rapper. He is funny. He's very creative. He's great at YouTube. And next time I really want to talk about why I feel entirely different towards him now. I know you are already like, it already sounds like you hate him after the album. But the truth is, Lil Dicky sold me on the fact that that 2015 album, after that, we'd be seeing a lot more of him as a rapper. He sold me that and I believed it. And he used Snoop Dogg and T-Pain and Fetty Wap and Rich Homie Quan to help push that idea. So I believe him. And I think that if he just embraces the type of person that I saw on The Antagonist, he can eventually be a little less haha and a little more ho snap bars. So next time we'll talk about Dave, the show that he came out with, some of his freestyles, Earth, Freaky Friday, the sophomore album that he lied about dropping like half a dozen times, him canceling his tour, all of that. We're going to get into all of it. Because I care that much. I'm that fired up about it. I love rap. I love rap. And Lil Dicky, what he used rap for, I think is, I think it's a con. I think it was part of this master plan, and I think maybe he didn't come into it intending to use it that way, but if he didn't plan on tricking people, I can't tell. And he got me. He got me. And now looking back on it, I already felt this way, but the more I looked into the lyrics of these songs and the more I went back and watched all of his YouTube videos, I'm like, this guy played me, and I think a lot of other people, and it's crazy to me that I feel like I'm the only one talking about it. Anyways, thanks for listening to this session of Derapy. I used to say that this was just for me, but it's not. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in a couple days. This episode was made possible by Anchor. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify, please consider giving me a follow so you can be notified when I upload. If this ever ends up on Apple Podcasts, I'd really appreciate a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at Derapy Podcast or Instagram at Derapy_podcast. The intro music is by my brother, Damon Buxton. Outro music is by Lobo, and cover art is by my friend Nick Johnson. Thanks for listening. This has been Derapy.